Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our campaign in Divided Impera. Last time, as we left off, we saw the terrible defeat of the Romans by the hands of the Epirotes near Ariminum. Fortunately, thanks to the distraction caused by our forces of the Legio Prima and of the Legio Seconda Augusta, our forces, well, they managed to take Asculum and Ariminum, but they've lost many in the process. Now what happens is that the Cyclops Slayers, commanded by their general, Exaientos, are now trying to counterattack, while the rest of Magna Graecia is in total control of the Epirotes. Due to the instability caused by the Epirote War and the recent conquest of the Epirotes and the recent defeat of the Romans near Ariminum, it seems some rebels have appeared in the province of Asculum. To this task, we're gonna send the Legio Seconda Augusta to deal with the rebels, just to crush them and to bring order and stability again.
Victory for Rome!
It seems that the forces are so meager that our general does not need our help for this battle.
Make haste, men!
Unfortunately, it seems that the Cyclops are now heading straight to Rome. Our primus inter pares, our glorious leader, is trying to stop them, but we'll see if he's gonna make it before the Epirotes come to Rome. In the meantime, now that we have time to talk during the end of the turn, I wanted to point out the resilience of the Romans in all of the battles they fought, and by resilience I mean in real life. Usually there have been many empires through history that have fought many wars, that have conquered, that have brought greatness to their nation, but I don't think that any of them, and especially in the case of Rome, had such a strong history and such a strange, well, situation as Rome. Let me explain. Well, let's think of Rome as a small settlement that grew out of nothing and then took over the Mediterranean. It seems that conditions favor us, since Latium is experiencing a mild winter. In this case, supplies will last longer and our troops are not gonna be taken out by the cold. It seems also that our enemies, the Cyclops, have decided to fortify in the pass between Ariminum and Rome. The Legio First Apollinaris is trying to recover right now. However, we could try and block the way of the Epirotes.
On the move. Get the stakes up.
In the meantime, as the Legio Apollinaris is gonna recover from their wounds, they're gonna help in crushing the Epirotes in the next season. As I said previously, as I was explaining, it is astonishing to me to think about the Roman history. So you had the Seven Hills, which were, well, probably tribes from what we know from history. I mean, real history, not to think about the legends surrounding Aeneas and the... Okay. So, I'm sorry about the interruption, but it seems that an enemy army is attacking Beneventum. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem that we have any chance to stop the invaders, so we're just gonna leave the forces on their fate. As you can see, the enemy forces have very heavy phalanx, in which, unfortunately, our archers and our brave citizens cannot stop. This will set a very dangerous course for us, since now we've lost the entirety of Mana Grecia, and also we've been attacked at the same time by a fleet of Epirotes in Asculum. In this case, as well, we don't have any chance of stopping the enemy, unfortunately. The enemy is just too numerous, and it has too many soldiers. Although it seems that instead of taking the settlement, the Epirotes have decided to release it to a confederation of Italian city-states. However, those city-states seems to be enemies of ours, so it seems that we should fight them as well. As I was saying, Second Beneventum is setting a very, very dangerous setback for us, since now the way to Rome is opened.
Commander. Ready for battle.
Now is the time of truth. Let's say if our forces
Victory!
are gonna defeat the Epirotes.
Make haste, men. Ready for orders. At your command. We cannot follow this order. Ready. Kill the cowards!
Fortunately for us, it seems that the enemies have been taken completely by surprise. Two legions have attacked, and with the help of the garrison of Rome, we have encircled the enemy. Thanks to the tactical abilities of Gaius Fabricius Lusinius, we've won a decisive battle against the Epirotes, in which they've lost all of their men, including their general.
Is that all?
The Legio Seconda Augusta, now they're going to need to help Beneventum against both the Marrucini and the Epirotes. While our army, the First Legion, is gonna go and attack Asculum. Unfortunately, nothing is over, since now barbarians, Gauls, Celts from the north, will try to attack us as well.
Come, let me. Peace is not to our taste. The sword is different, and ale, and the screams of your women. Not
However, it seems that diplomacy and a little bit of bribery did the work. Our northern flank is secure as for now, and then now we can truly focus on our main enemy. It would also seem that many more Italic rebels are growing up in numbers each passing day. The enemies, the Epirote enemies, seems they weren't happy with sacking Beneventum, and now they have decided to conquer it once and for all. I believe this is a sound strategic choice, since now the Epirotes will have a base in which to operate closer to Rome and could be protected by the walls of the houses in Beneventum. In the meantime, we'll decide that our spy is gonna be sent to a dangerous mission in order to sabotage the enemy army in Asculum.
Sabotage. An excellent choice.
It seems that she was successful in her endeavor. In the meantime, the Legion First Apollinaris is going down on Asculum, while our faction leader is trying to get a hold on Beneventum. Unfortunately, we are unable to call to arms other men, so it would seem that we need to, unfortunately, go head-on against Beneventum. Fortunately, it would seem that the garrison army is very weak, and the only real army that is present are the Spears of Ares. It will also seem that the forces which would remain are insufficient numbers to continue the campaign, and this is a risk that we should take. It seems that our previous inter pares have achieved another great victory, and for that he gained more and more experience, which will be fundamental in order to defeat the Epirotes out of Italy. In Italy, pardon me. As returning to our previous topic, I read a lot about Roman history, and it is a subject that personally fascinates me every time. The legend that, of course, have been circulating about the foundation of Rome, about Romulus and Remus, the two twins that have been taken by a wolf. You see those two brothers, and then they fought their enemies back. They took revenge against those who threw them in the Tiber River, and they both founded Rome. But as all the classic history that we know from school or from our personal lecture, we know how it ends in tragedy. It seems that our enemies are trying to attack us. The odds are not in our favor, unfortunately. This time we need to fight the battle. Let's see if another time the Legion First Apollinaris is gonna to suffer another huge defeat, or if it's gonna turn the tide and win this time. It seems that the enemy army does not only have, enemy citizens, but also mercenaries at their service. I believe the mercenaries, since they're heavily armored and experienced, will be the heaviest and largest threat to deal with. We will do as follows. We have good units, so we can hold the line. Let's make our Hastati, our brave French citizen, hold the line. You need to know that the Hastati, historically, has been people who were either poor to afford, they were too poor to afford their own armor, or those were very young, inexperienced soldiers who were at their first arms against the enemies. This formation was called Triple Aces, of course, and the point of the Triple Aces was to have three main line of defenses. In the first line there were the Hastati, which were of course the inexperienced or the poor citizens. Then there were the Principes or Principes, which were the more noble families in which served as, well, heavy infantry. In fact, you can see the disparity of quality of the armor between the Principes and the Hastati. And those, of course, were more experienced soldiers who had already experience in battle. And then for the last line, which is, well, anecdotal here because I'm using them as flank troops, but in the last line there were the Triari, in which they were the most hardened, the most battle-hardened citizens, and the richest as well. Those were called only in the time of greatest need.
Are upon us today. We must make them proud that we are their defenders. More than that, our Roman gods are watching. Make sure they are not ashamed.
And the end, of course, there was the general, that in many cases was the commander of the cavalry. In this case, since we have the advantage of cavalry, let's take our general and hide it in the woods. Not because he's a coward, but because he will be useful later on in dealing with the skirmishers that the enemy will send. As we said previously, the Triari will serve as a flanking force. This is because we need a strong flanking force in the case the enemy is gonna throw us cavalry or other very heavy infantry. As you can see, of course, the Triari have beautiful Italian armor. They are landowners who can afford, of course, to equip themselves with the best of the best in order to have a higher chance of survival. It seems our general made it to the woods. This is good news. Our skirmishers will also stay on the first line. They're gonna harass the enemy first and then they're gonna retreat on the second line. We're just gonna leave them with more space to retreat and to harass the enemy later. It seems that there is still no sign of the enemy. It's very foggy today, so it's gonna be difficult for our archers, for our veritas, I'm sorry, to see in these conditions. It seems that there's still no sign of the enemy. It is strange, because this battle has a limit. If the limit is gonna be taken, then we win. If the time runs out, we win. So we need to hold on the army of the enemy. However, in this case, I believe that the computer, the AI responsible for the programming, yes, there we go, they're coming. It seems that the majority of the enemy is lightly armored. Let's face the army, the enemy army on the front without being encircled. Now, our general needs to stay calm and stay hidden in order to take the enemy by surprise. As expected, I believe the enemy is will try at least to encircle us.
Commander!
Time! Aim low! Jupiter on Mars, Cassius!
It started. We'll see who'll win.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Missile infantry at your command! Quick march! Triari!
In fact, we can see
One of
that
our units has used all its
the
ammunition.
cavalry of the enemy wants to encircle us. And Triari will hold with no problems.
Commander!
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Unfortunately, it seems that the enemy has advantage in the superiority of their numbers in skirmishers and ranged
One of
units.
our units has used all its ammunition.
We await your command.
Our Triari are gonna help our Hastati in the battle that will come. Our Principes are just gonna stay where they are for now.
Double time! Move forward!
It seems that the enemy is not as unprepared as we thought. They're leaving their army, the bulk of their army,
One
behind
of
the
our units
lines.
has used all its ammunition.
Since the Levies have exhausted all of their ammunition, they're gonna help the Astati.
Triari! Understood!
The Triari are unfortunately taking many losses.
Sons of Mars!
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Vidiamus! Triari!
Although the other Triari are winning against the citizens, the light infantry of the enemy.
Orders?
The cavalry is trying again to encircle the Triari.
Mars, aid us!
Other troops are coming as well. Let's hope that Arastati will be able to hold them off.
Hack them down!
This is not yet the time for our general to strike. Our Hastati are holding the line very well, I must say. Our Slingers unfortunately are wavering, which is not good. I think it will be time to call the Princeps to help in a moment. Let's just see the last movements of the enemy. Yes, as you can see, the cavalry is trying to harass our men again, but they're not very successful this time.
Our men flee the field of
It also would seem
This is a shameful display.
that our men here are holding the line, the left flank pretty well. It would seem, to my surprise and to my enjoyment, that the enemy's right flank is not gonna hold. So this will be our chance to advance right now with our Triari and Astati. The Astati are gonna help their fellow comrades in encircling the other man. One Princeps unit will go and help against the Hastati, while the Triari are gonna hold the line. Our Triari are gonna go and advance on the enemy position, while right now our general is gonna go and kill the Slingers. And we will slowly but surely encircle the enemy army. It is time for our general to go and encircle the enemy army, while the Triari are gonna go and deal with the enemy general.
Our general is under attack.
Our Triari are suffering very heavy losses, but their friends are now gonna help. Do not waver, brave man. Reinforcements are here. Reinforcements are here. The main enemy army is encircled.
Ready for orders. Spearmen at the ready.
General!
Triarii! Ready and waiting. Yours to command.
Ready and waiting!
Commander, set for glory!
Principes!
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Hurry! As quickly now!
Pipes at the ready.
Jupiter gives us strength! Fire forward! Charge!
Our general managed to rout on the enemy unit.
Triarii!
Engage!
Pipes ready.
General! Break!
Jupiter gives us strength. By your command.
Glory to Rome! Forward!
Our general now is gonna try to give the last blow to the other enemy units.
Advance!
Pipes at the ready.
Our brave Triarii are holding back the enemy general,
The enemy general is dead.
which is now gone. Now the only thing left is to break the enemy's will, and our general is gonna do so.
Advance and speed!
We left the enemy with no chance of escaping, and we won the battle. Now the only thing left was slaughter.
Spear infantry at your command.
General! Your orders! Rome is mother to us all!
The remaining swordsmen who serve the enemy have now no chance of escaping against their cavalry.
Engage! Help yourselves, lads! Their feet!
And finally, after suffering an humiliating defeat but by the hands of the Epirotes, the First Legion Apollinaris has redeemed itself to the eyes of Rome. Unfortunately, many brave Triari and Astati have died today, but their loss means now that Asculum can be reconquered by Rome. And with Asculum back in Roman hands, now the Epirotes are gonna be confined to only Magna Graecia. As it is custom, I think that you're already very well versed with the loading times of our mod. Emperor Claudius, on his deathbed, apparently said, "I've made a mess of it." I mean, Claudius wasn't all that bad of an emperor. He was actually pretty competent for his time. And if everything wasn't as history would have programmed with the death of Caligula, Claudius would even be emperor. Something has happened, it seems. Quintus Sallustius Belleus has given disgrace to us. The name of one of our subjects is on the lips of everyone. Whether this will prove beneficial remains to be seen. Let's see what happens. A filthy spectacle. Your general is seeking permission to sail down the Cloaca Maxima. For those who don't know, the Cloaca Maxima was the sewer system of Rome, of ancient Rome. He feels the spectacle will provide distraction for the people and display this impressive piece of Roman architecture. So we can allow him. It may prove costly, but the people will enjoy the spectacle. We can prevent him or do nothing. As crazy as this may sound, we will allow him. At least the population is gonna be a little bit relieved to see the spectacle. Now, thanks to the victory on the south of Asculum, our forces of the First Legio Apollinaris can end up defeating all of the enemy troops.
On the move, Commander.
And thus, with the last victory against the Marrucini, Asculum is retaken in Roman
We
hands.
hunger for battle.
275 before our current era was a great year, a great autumn for our brave soldiers. We will not forget who perished to give this victory, and we will honor them by winning the war against the Epirotes. Unexpectedly, it seems that the Epirotes at the command of Aeetes, are now trying to sack Beneventum, to conquer it again. The Legio Secunda Augusta, commanded by our Primus Inter Pares, is trying to hold the city, and it would seem that this will require our personal attention. Now, let's think of what can happen. So, we have deployables. Deployables means that those are fortifications that we can use against the enemy. As we see, the enemy is going to crash against us in the front door. What we can do is block the passages on our flanks. Let's do this, so the cavalry will not be able to encircle us. Stakes can be put as well in order to hold on the enemy. We will do this as well. The enemy is probably gonna charge from the front with the cavalry, so we should put all of our efforts in the defense here. Sharp stones. I believe sharp stones will be left on the rear, just in case the enemy will try and encircle us. Spike traps. Spike traps will be very useful. The enemy for sure is gonna attack an all-in from the front. We will put traps here, near the road. Same thing here. We could also use some brimstone pits. just in case. I believe the best strategy is to divide our armies into different groups, just to be covered by all flanks. We will not move our troops in other places. They will stay here, since we have spike traps.
Understood! Superstar gives us strength!
Same here.
Mandata tua! What are you waiting?
I apologize if I don't talk much during this preparation, but I need to make sure that this battle can be won.
Command up! Orders! By your cover! Your orders! What are you waiting? Your orders! Commander!
Good, it seems that our hastati are in place.
Principes!
The Principes will be put on a more flexible line, just to help the hastati if anything happens. There are also some Principes Samnitici. Those are from Samnium, an ancient civilization that fought against the Romans, but now they are their subjects.
Yours to command.
The Extraordinary are gonna go and protect our rear in case anything happens. The Triari, on the other hand, will stay and they will focus on granting some flexibility in case anything bad happens. The general and the other cavalrymen are gonna instead stay outside the city and help us dealing with the archers and other skirmishers. On the other hand, our levies are gonna stay behind the line and they're gonna harass the enemy as much as they can.
Missile infantry at your command. Heavies!
We also have availability of archers, so we're gonna use them
Archers!
as much as we can. What is left?
Commander!
It seems that just the swordsmen are left, so they're gonna protect the rear.
On hoplites!
Not many men, but they shall do. This is all we have to defeat the Epirotes in another battle. If we succeed, Beneventum is gonna be safe. If we lose, well, the situation is gonna be grave for us. I believe everything is ready. There is really nothing much else we can do. Let's see to stall the enemies as much as we can and to perhaps win in honor of all the fallen of this war.
Is there anything more pathetic than a warlike Greek? Anything?
It seems that the enemy is already making their moves. They're probably gonna attack from the front and from the left side of the city. Our traps are gonna be very effective against them right now. The cavalry, as is per, of course, Rome tradition, is gonna charge first. So either the metal or the wooden spikes are gonna do their job against them. You'll see. It seems we are very successful in putting our traps in place. It seems also that the general is charging head-on. Brave but foolish at the same time, as we already saw what happened with Pyrrhus. It should have been an easy battle,
Units has used all its ammunition.
but the general and the king, of course, Epirus, died in that same battles against peasants. It seems that the other flanks are holding well. The enemies are not trying to encircle us, which can only be interpreted as a grave strategic error.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Our general now has to move very quickly with his cavalry in order to give as much support as he can to our struggling soldiers on the ground.
The enemy general is dead.
That was expected. I'm not very surprised, to be honest. We need to be very careful with our general to make sure that our general is not gonna perish in this battle. He is very, very important to our cause, and it's our faction leader. This will provoke instability if anything happens to him. Unfortunately, the Macedonian phalanx is trying to get hold of our troops. We will send our velites to give as much support as they can.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
It seems that unfortunately we are unable to penetrate the heavy armor of the phalanx. As we saw from previous battles, the phalanx is a very formidable formation, especially in close quarters or in plain terrain.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
What kind of troops they have here? Epirote. Okay. Our general is gonna go and encircle them while the other cavalry is gonna go and take head-on the spearmen and the archers.
Ready and waiting. Principes! Missile infantry ready. Fire! Ready.
Our other missile units are gonna help the struggling soldiers. Our Stati are still holding off incredibly.
Ready for duty.
It seems that the missile advantage of the enemy is being taken care of.
Charge!
Now I think it is a good time for our cavalry to go and harass the units behind, just to make sure that they lose morale, seeing the situation as desperate as it is.
Move out!
Our men are actually gonna go and flank the enemy, since they're very occupied and busy.
Equites!
Now the Equites are gonna retreat, as for now.
Principes! Inside the double!
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Ready for duty. Fire on the enemy!
Yes, I'm gonna admit this. The Epirote phalanx are very, very tough. Will our brave men be able to, you know, circumvent a barricade? I don't know. Let's hope so.
The men are wavering.
Yes, we know, unfortunately. The enemy is not gonna encircle us, so our flanks are secure. We can help the struggling Stati. The Equites are successfully harassing
One
the
of our
enemy.
units has used all its ammunition.
One unit has managed to cross the barricade, and the others as well. Now it's time to encircle the enemy once and for all.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Brave Romans to a man! Men of Italia! Command up! Principes! Spears ready! Quick march!
I'm gonna explain the strategy, my strategies for now. First of all, we're gonna take out the lesser troops here, the weaker ones, on this side, and then the whole army is gonna encircle the rest of the phalanx and leave them with no escape. In order to do so,
Has used all its ammunition.
we're gonna send the Principes and the Triari to help. For now, the other soldiers are gonna just hold the line. We're gonna move other Hastati there
Flee the field of
and leave the cavalry as well. We're gonna kill those stragglers.
fighting! Spear infantry, ready!
Principes!
The Principes are gonna help with the holding line. The levies as well. Against the phalanx we can only hold the line. We cannot expect to really fight against them as for now. Although some of them I see are already not paying attention to the rear, so our Hastati are gonna hold them off right now. As you can see, the enemy are losing morale here. Our strategy is working as so far. We're gonna move those Triari to hold the line as much as they can. And it seems that everybody's trying to escape, but will not leave them this chance.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a
We will definitely try to kill as many men as we can.
For glory! Spear infantry at your command!
I'm sorry for the poor frame rate, but there are like thousands and thousands and thousands of fully rendered men, so it's kind of difficult even for the most performing machine to do that. Now,
Your orders!
the Triari are gonna go here and start pushing, while the rest of the army is gonna go and help the Astati that have encircled already the struggling phalanx. The archers are gonna go into the fray. And the rest is also gonna help. We will leave the Macedonians. Sorry, not the Macedonians. I got confused here. We're not gonna leave the Epirotes any chance to escape. It's gonna be over for them in Benevento. Yes, it's over for them. They're already losing morale, as you can see. Some are already escaping from the battlefield. But we will not leave them this chance. The general is just gonna take care of any other survivor
Our
that's
men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
gonna escape.
Advance!
For glory! We are for glory!
General! More advance!
The battle is turning in our favor.
Yes, I would say so. This is gonna be a truly utter massacre. But I believe that, as my dearest audience, you're here for this, aren't you?
Our general is under attack.
Proud Romans all!
Can I say that this is for all the Romans have suffered in this campaign, for all we have perished under the Epirotes? Isn't this truly beautiful? to see thousands of heavy phalanx escape or trying to escape. They're actually escaping, which I don't like this.
The riders, advance! Forward! General! Advance at speed! Flying wedge formation! In service, a row! Help me! Please! It's too late! You are dead, man! All riders, advance! Advance at speed! Charge!
Orders.
Charge!
Men of Italia.
Equities! Jupiter gives us strength! Engage!
Commander. Forward.
Let's speed up this a little bit. And let the cavalry do the dirty work.
Triari.
The infantry is just gonna regroup.
On me.
The cavalry is just gonna kill everybody.
Equities!
Engage.
For a battle that seemed lost, our men did an amazing job in holding the city of Beneventum. For sure this victory will be remembered till Rome is gonna exist.
Engage!
Sir, shall we kill them all now?
Our hidden units have been discovered.
I don't think this is gonna make a great impact as for now.
Charge!
Is anybody else trying to escape from the city? I don't think so.
Triari. Pikes ready.
Extempo!
Engage.
Andata tua!
Attack.
Equities!
Forward.
Our hidden units have been discovered.
Advance!
Ready! Legio Menace! Ready!
It's finally over. Rome has won. This has been indeed a heroic victory. Our men, outnumbered, have managed to destroy almost the entirety of the Epirote army and kill their general. So, in the meanwhile, as we're waiting for the game to run again, it seems, well, let me know if this episode was more enjoyable than the other ones, if the audio quality was improved, of course, and if overall, if you're enjoying the series so far. to end the note to this episode on a positive and comic note, it seems that, well, the public enjoyed the spectacle at the Cloaca Maxima, but our senators didn't, and unfortunately we've lost support. But it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. In the end, Rome is victorious. We have defeated Epirus as for now. The only thing to do is to rush against Taras and Constantia, reclaim our lands and end the war. And it is with this positive note that I'm leaving you with this episode, and I'm gonna see you next time. Thank you for watching.